Now we have the situation with Pella and Dellien that was is quite tricky. So yeah, things are changing a lot of times, in such a short period, and sometimes it's out of the hand of USTA and ATP and the governing body in tennis, and it's more up to the health department of New York State, and we have to accept it, I guess, and it's tough. It's not easy, and especially with these two guys, it's not easy seeing them being out of the Cincinnati tournament and most likely out of US Open and being quarantined, and yet have the negative results, and several negative results in the last couple of days. And we were actually informed by the chief medical doctor of the USTA or US Open, well, USTA, I think US Open, about a couple of weeks ago when we had a conversation. All of us players, I think there was a lot of players on the call, about 30, 40 players that were participating in US Open, and we asked the question about this specific situation that these two players are in, and he told us something that is obviously contrary to what was written in the waiver, which is, as you probably read, in the waiver is obviously up to the contact tracing investigation process that had to be done by New York Health Department. And then when they determine whether those players were too close or not too close, then they can decide whether they're going to disqualify them or not. So that's what happened. But when we talked on that Zoom call, we got an information from the gentleman that if a player is not sharing a room in the hotel with his coach or physio or anyone from his team that is infected, that is positive, and his results are showing that he's negative, he can still compete in the tournament. And we've asked that question a couple of times on the call, and that's what was communicated to us. And so we thought that is the way, and that's why a lot of players were upset when they were, and they still are upset, including myself, when I see that Dellien and Pella are, treated in this way. But again, it's hard. It's really I can't point fingers on anybody. It's just these kind of circumstances are very tricky. Things are changing so rapidly, and I guess there is always a realistic chance that this might happen during US Open as well, and then we don't even know. It was not determined how many players have to be infected for maybe the tournament to be canceled and stuff. So as we go along, I think we will figure things out more, and I think we just have to stick together and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, that wasn't how I understood the rules. My understanding was that if a team member tested positive, but you were not sharing a room with that team member, that you would be allowed to play providing you were negative. And I think that's what all of the players thought the rules were. So when they were withdrawn from the tournament, the players were like, well, that isn't what we understood the rules to be. And some of the players were saying, well, I wouldn't have come with a trainer, or I wouldn't have come with a physio if I knew that was the case. Not saying that it's not the right decision, but it's just the players were not clear as to what the rules actually were, and I wasn't either. So that's why I think there was, the players were disappointed with that.
Of course, I'm part of all these discussions, and I can only say kind of my opinion in this case. We hear a lot of opinions, but what I should agree on is that we do think that the physio of Pella and Dellien, and everybody thinks this way, should have been tested second time, which was not the case, because they say there is still a possibility that there is a false positive test. I don't know if it's true, but if it is, just why not to do a second test, and if it's negative, to think about it. And of course, if Dellien and Pella really had zero symptoms, that's a question to ask, because imagine there is a quarterfinal of US Open, and I doubt that New York Health Department or USTA will make the same disqualification for somebody who was in, because they say he was in close contact, but they cannot even know this for sure, because I don't think they have cameras showing. So I mean, if both of these players are negative, which is the case, and I think they had 3 negative tests after already the physio of them was positive, I think they should play, and that's what the majority of players think. I think 99%.